Okay, so if you don't have a need to exercise your right to not die, you are likely not going to get a concealed carry weapons permit. Hello everyone, today I want to talk about how myself and many other people in Sonoma County, California are in a position where we could potentially lose our ability to obtain a concealed carry weapons permit. I'm going to be very careful with the word choices I use, and we'll elaborate on some more of the reasoning behind that later in this video, but we need to talk about the current election that is coming up and why it's important, especially for many other people that might be in similar situations across the state of California who are going to be having sheriff elections. I believe there's several very important ones going on, so if you live in another county in California and you know that there is one candidate who will respect your right to carry a firearm and other candidates who won't, drop that information down below or maybe email me at renomaymedia@gmail.com. I would love to have these kinds of discussions about other counties as well. So I live in Sonoma County, and right now I have a concealed carry weapons permit, and that could go away. Before we get going though, I do want to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video. It is Wild Built Tactical, WBT. If you want to check them out, I'm going to have a link to their social media down in the pinned comment so you can check them out. If you've never heard of them and you live in the state of California, that's surprising to me. Wild Built Tactical is one of the few places online where you can find a wide selection of rare, hard to find firearms. If you're looking for an exotic CZ Scorpion, they'll have it. If you're looking for a SCAR, they're the place that's going to have it. Anything that might be hard to acquire, exotic, rare, they are the place that is most likely going to be able to help you get the gun that you actually want here in the state of California. We all know it's difficult. Check them out, WBT, Wild Built Tactical. Very thankful to have their support. Got some cool stuff coming on the way too from them that I think you're going to be very, very excited about if you're into the whole AR pistol realm. I got some questions about other guns that use a similar method, and we're going to be talking about those soon because of them. Thank you, Wild Built Tactical. Now, so for those of you that are interested, Sonoma County has a sheriff election coming up. Currently, the sheriff, Mark Essick, has decided that he no longer wants to be sheriff. And when he was elected, it was rumored, he alluded to having a concealed carry weapons permit policy that would be more respectful of an individual's right to keep and bear arms. Now, we didn't really know exactly how that was going to work, so myself and many others were test cases. Now, I was able to get my concealed carry weapons permit in 2018. I then renewed it in 2020, and I believe I will have to renew that sometime this year. I can't remember the years off the top of my head exactly, but I will have to get that renewed at some point. The problem is now that Essick is retiring and a new sheriff could take over, I might not be able to renew if one of the two of the three candidates actually gets into office. The candidate who will respect your right to conceal carry a firearm and will issue a concealed carry weapons permit would be Eddie Ingram. So if you live in Sonoma County and you're interested in firearms, if you're interested in having the ability to lawfully protect yourself, I would recommend that you vote for Eddie Ingram for sheriff. Now, I'm going to read you the response that I got from him when I asked. Basically just said, hey, my name is Reno, wondering what your opinions on and what your future policy or your opinions on the CCW policy that Essick has in place, and was hoping to see if you were going to be keeping that in place as it currently stands. Eddie's response was, I believe we currently have a common sense CCW program that balances public safety with the rights of individuals to protect themselves and their families. I will not change the current policy. Current CCW permits will be renewed unless there are reasons under the current program for which the permit should be rescinded. Hope that answers your question. Now, you might be wondering, well, what is the policy in Sonoma County? Well, in my opinion, the average person who is looking to protect themselves can get a CCW permit. The average person. I'm a very average person. I was a very average person when I first applied. I'm a very average person right now. I don't live a particularly dangerous life. I've had threats in the past, and more recently, I get more now that I just have an internet persona or an internet existence, I guess is how you would say it. Now that I'm an influencer, I get a lot more threats than when I wasn't, but that just comes with the territory. Average people in Sonoma County currently have the ability to lawfully protect themselves and are not forced to get caught with it versus caught without it, that kind of thing. This is one of the only times I've seen any potential politician or actual politician use the word common sense in relation to gun control in a way that, to me, was common sense, because bad people are going to carry a firearm regardless. Now, if you've gone through the Sonoma County CCW process, you most likely have interacted with Alicia Cortez. She's been very great. Every time I've had questions, she's been super helpful. Every time other people have said that they've interacted with her to get the permit and the process going, she's been very helpful, very kind. So I am happy with the process as it stands in the state of California, given the current restrictions. I understand that there are some court cases that might change this up. New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin could affect the good cause. However, I'm not entirely certain until we see a decision how it could potentially still be exploited in the future with the good moral character or certain training requirements that could make it exorbitantly expensive for the average person to get a hold of a permit. Now, one of the other candidates is Carl Tenenbaum, and I asked him about it, and he said in response to my question, what will be your standard of good cause? He says, I don't have a standard of good cause. I believe that every applicant for a concealed carry weapons permit should be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. There are too many scenarios and differing factors within those scenarios to have a blanket standard for good cause. I'm not a fan of that answer because wanting to protect yourself because the criminals won't worry about these permits is reason enough for me. I asked, will all current CCW permits be renewed? He said, no, there will be no automatic renewals of the CCW permits. As with my answer to your first question, each case and existing permit will be renewed and evaluated on the individual merits of the need to carry a concealed weapon. Need. If circumstances within the permit holder have changed during the duration of their permit prior to renewal, those changes will be factored into renewal. So if this guy were to get into office, me being an average person, not so fond of my chances of getting a concealed carry weapons permit. Does that mean I'm going to stop carrying a gun? Now, the next question was, will additional restrictions be added to permit holders? He said no. Asked him about IDs and because currently it's just a big piece of paper. He said he's interested in changing it to a more legit ID. We will see if that happens. Now, he said, I want to leave you with a parting thought. I know that you are a strong Second Amendment advocate, and I respect you for that. I also realize that some people have legitimate needs to carry a weapon, and I respect and honor that. Legitimate needs to carry a weapon, because not wanting to die, just for the sake of it, apparently not a legitimate need. Personally, even though I can legally carry a concealed weapon, I choose not to. The same holds true for when I was living in San Francisco and still employed as a police officer. I didn't carry a concealed weapon when I was off duty. I never feared for my safety while going about my business in spite of my 32 years as a police officer, and in spite of working in some very dangerous neighborhoods. Congratulations, you felt like you could risk not having the means to protect yourself. Very cool for you. It's cool that you were able to exercise that choice because you have the option to. Yet I understand that some people have a heightened sense of fear or just want the security that they get from having a concealed weapon. I am also keenly aware of the liability of carrying a concealed weapon or even owning a weapon. Guns can certainly be an asset when trouble comes calling, but too often they are misused or allowed to fall into the wrong hands. Okay. So bad people are going to have guns. Okay. But you, unless you have a legitimate need, probably not going to be able to have one legally, making you the criminal now. Very fond of that. Now, I wasn't able to get a response from Dave Edmonds, but one of my subscribers was when he asked about his views on CCWs. This was his response. Hi, Stefan. I managed a concealed carry weapons permit for many years. This was during the COG bill administration. I understand that Sheriff Freitas did not issue any, and Sheriff Essick, I have heard, has issued a lot, with some saying for political favor. What political favor? He only started issuing them after he got elected and is now not running for re-election. And to this day, people are still getting their concealed carry weapons permits. What political favor? I don't know. I intend to return to the way that I always managed this, and that is to review every application and make decisions based upon actual necessity. So I imagine that my administration would end up looking similar to COG Bill's administration on this topic, because I was the sole decider then, and I would put in place the same methodology that I have used in the past. Okay, so if you don't have a need to exercise your right to not die you are likely not going to get a concealed carry weapons permit. So if you live in Sonoma County, who do you think you should vote for? Do you think you should vote for Eddie Ingram, who plans to keep the current policy that respects your ability to lawfully protect yourself? Or do you want to go with the guys that worked in San Francisco for a while and don't think that it's legitimately necessary or that you have a legitimate need and are choosing to not exercise the privilege that they have of being able to carry a gun? Does that sound good to you? Do you want those kind of people controlling what you can do legally? Let me know down below. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace. I want to give a huge thank you to everyone that supports this channel. This channel has absolutely changed my life. Having this opportunity to interact with you guys and do the things that I'm able to do, huge. I mean this legitimately. During 2020, I got super skinny fat. Like I was the peak soft doughboy. You know, I was 200 pounds at 6'2" with almost no muscle mass on me. I'm still pretty skinny. I got a lot of work to go. But because of the financial stability that this channel has kind of aided me with and the things that it allows me to do, I was able to buy a home gym during the peak of the pandemic in 2020 and start focusing on my fitness. And I think that's been just a huge benefit for me. I feel better. I look better. I'm happier. I'm just stronger in general. Strong people are harder to kill and more useful in general. I think Mark Ripito coined that phrase. I'm very thankful for the position that this channel has put me in. If you are interested in fitness, all that kind of stuff, I got some links down in the description. I'm trying to get some links to American-made companies to support them as well. We will see how that goes. But if you're looking for advice, tips, that kind of thing, I'm not an expert, but you can reach me on social media and maybe we can discuss fitness, that kind of thing. I'm just so thankful for the opportunities this channel has given me. And again, thank you.